Choosing a good business name can feel like torture. You want a business name that's catchy, but not cringe, memorable, but not taken. And here's the truth. Business names are a lot like band names. If you think about it, right, most of them are rubbish. Green Day was one of the biggest bands in the world at the time. Absolutely ridiculous name. And I know what you're thinking. Andy, you could have ironed your t-shirt before you started this video and you'd be right. But you might also be thinking Green Day is a great name, but imagine if you didn't know them. To me, Green Day would just mean like every second Tuesday when the recycling bins go out. Even the Beatles, think about it. On paper, that would be a really weird name, right? Like little insects. But once you know the music, suddenly they're iconic names, and business names work the same way. So the reason you think Apple or Nike is a great business name isn't because of the word necessarily, it's because of the story and the success behind it and the positioning in your mind. So if the company Apple never existed, then that name might be as good as like peach or banana. So look, what I'm saying is don't stress too much, and you can always change your name later. The important thing is that you don't get too hung up on it and never start your business just because you're going round and round in circles over the name. So I'll go over the different types of business names in a second, and then we'll do a short, simple exercise together so that by the end of this video, you'll have a list of solid business names to choose from. By the way, if you're into side business tips like this, hit the like button below so more people see this video, and subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. All right, now let's get into the 7 types of business names. So number 1 is descriptive. And as you can see, I've found a whiteboard. Let me know in the comments below if you think it's useful or if it just hurts your eyes staring at my absolutely terrible handwriting. But the first business type is descriptive. So for example, General Motors, The Body Shop, Pizza Hut, Jim's Mowing, right? It does what it says on the tin. So the pros of this are, it's crystal clear what you do, and you can expect some early SEO boosts, which you'll love if you're on a budget. So for example, if someone Googles like wooden door handles, and that's what your business does, and your name is like woodendoorhandles.com, you've got a great chance of showing up first on Google. The cons of this type of business name, not particularly exciting or original or fun. Can be harder to trademark as well, like your trademark application will get rejected if it's deemed too descriptive. So not necessarily a deal breaker, but something to keep in mind. Also, this actually happened to the e-commerce business that I ran for 11 years. You can get pigeonholed with a descriptive business name, right? So if you will say, let's say, okay, using the woodendoorhandles.com example, if you suddenly then wanted to expand and start selling metal window hinges, then you might find it hard to do that. Now, I'm a big fan of descriptive names, especially if you haven't got the marketing budget to educate your audience over what your business name means, because it's, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. But as I said, there are a few things that you need to be careful of though. So maybe you could chuck in one unique word. So for example, Side Business Bloke, the name of this YouTube channel you're watching right now, could probably be classed as a descriptive business name, but because it's not Side Business YouTuber, it's Side Business Bloke, it makes it at least slightly unique, so getting trademarks and things like that are not a problem. So the next type of business name is acronyms. Jeez, I feel like I'm standing up in front of the class. You know, when you've been naughty and the teacher goes, come on, you come and do it. And, oh. So plenty of examples of acronyms, and some absolutely huge brands use them. IBM, KFC, NAB. The pros are they're shorter and easier to say, and they can sound quite corporate if that's what you're going for. So a lot of like banks, for example, will use them. The cons are they only really work once people know you. So if I told you my business was called SBB, you wouldn't have a clue what we did, right? But obviously if you're a massive company, people know because you're spending money on marketing and things like that. And if people don't know your business, it's just a bunch of letters, it can sort of struggle to inspire trust with your potential customers, and also it's just not very memorable. For example, even KFC used to be called Kentucky Fried Chicken when they first started, probably so that people didn't think it was stood for Kentucky or Kentucky. That would give a whole new meaning to their slogan, wouldn't it? All right, the next one. So number 3, we are going for founder names. My handwriting's getting progressively worse. That is terrible. So number 3, founder names. Okay, so for example, Ford was named after Henry Ford, the founder. McDonald's was named after the founder, Ronald McDonald. Arnott's Biscuits was named after DCI Arnott from the Line of Duty. Depending on what your business is, not only is this an easy solution to your naming trouble, so if you are struggling, have a think about whether you can just use your name, right? It could actually also be recommended, because if your name's, say, John Smith and your business is called J Smith Solicitors, and a potential client finds themselves talking to the J Smith, they're going to be very happy to know that they're dealing with the top dog. Or if it's a partnership, you can go like Smith and Jones Finance Solutions, Smith and Jones Bookkeeping. Super professional. And for that kind of industry, it just fits, you know. It sounds like, yeah, that's what a company that does those sort of like professional services should be called. Similarly, but for a different reason, something like Sarah's Cakes or Sarah's Bakery makes me kind of think of like a cozy small business where I know that the cakes or whatever are going to be made with love and passions really being put into every stage of the business. And that's something really powerful that you can tap into. So in fact, it's so powerful that you'll sometimes see massive corporations trying to tap into it and like pretend that they're not a massive corporation. So for example, Nestle might launch well, have they actually done this, or have I just made this up? They launched a range called Grandma's Cookies, even though you know it's come off a factory production line and it's got more preservatives than love in it. Like, they're borrowing that sense of warmth and trust that comes from having a personal name as your brand name. So the pros are, it's personal, it gives credibility if you're in the right industry that suits that type of name. The cons are, it can limit your brand if you want to sell it later on or expand beyond yourself, although not always, because, you know, Nestle likes it, apparently. I need to fact check that. Let me know in the comments. But other than that, it can be a bit boring. So again, though, if I wanted a solicitor, I want boring. I don't want some fun company with, like, you know, pool tables in the foyer. I want a nice, boring, sensible person who's going to look after like my court case or whatever. So yeah, bear that in mind. Oh, and obviously if you've got a dodgy name, then forget about it. For example, my high school French teacher had to change his name from Mr. Longbottom for that reason. So if your name wouldn't hold up in front of a class of year 10 boys, then maybe don't use it as your business name. What do you think? Would you ever name a business after yourself, or is it boring? Or do you have a ridiculous surname? If you do, let me know so we can all have a good laugh with you, not at you, in the comments. All right, and the next type, so number 4, am I gonna run out of space here, is geographical. Man, if I've spelt any of these words wrong, that's going to be extremely embarrassing. So number 4, geographical. Example, Bank of Melbourne, Sydney Tools, Byron Bay Cookies. Seriously, give it a go. Just try it right now. Take where your business is based and stick what you do on the end of it, right? Okay. Super powerful if you only offer services locally, as you're immediately letting customers know where you are. You're going to get an SEO boost from the location being in the name, and a bonus boost because your name is also quite descriptive. For example, Lara Lawn Care would be a fantastic name if you're a gardener in Lara, because straight away, people know where you are and what you do. And you've got some alliteration there with the 2 L's, which I'm always a fan of. Cons, and this is a big one, so you need to get clear about what you want from your business in the long term, right? You might find yourself limited if you want to expand further down the line. So let's say Lara Lawn Care, it works great in Lara, but not so much if you wanted to expand beyond sort of the closest neighbouring suburbs. Even if you did offer services, say the other side of Melbourne, or you wanted to have franchises all over Victoria, most people will assume that you don't sort of service their area if it's called Lara Lawn Care and they don't live anywhere near Lara. What's the weirdest local business name you've seen? Drop it in the comments, but maybe you want something bigger than a postcode, something that tells a story. Number 5. This is going to be the worst one to write. Okay. Jeez. For some reason, I've switched to lowercase letters, but that's all right. So, evocative. Metaphor. Now, this one's going to need a bit of explaining, so bear with me. There are names based on words that have strong positive connotations. For example, Nike is the goddess of victory. Amazon is the biggest river in the world, you know? And Amazon's the biggest store in the world. rebel, so rebel sport, freedom, breaking the rules. The pros of these ones, they're very powerful, they're very memorable, and they're easy to build a brand story around. Like straight away, you know sort of what your messaging is going to be loosely based around. In fact, I bet if you thought about all of your favorite brands, it's probably both, right? A lot of them would fall into this category. The cons are it does take a bit more creativity, and there may be a little bit more of an education gap in that people won't instantly know what your business does in the same way that they would with, you know, so geographical or descriptive. But if you've chosen well, they should go, oh yeah, that makes sense, I love the name. But another con is that if you pick a really common one-word business name, you're gonna have an absolute nightmare trademarking it, getting the domain name as well, getting the socials, showing up when people Google you. For example, if you name your brand Monstera, right, that's actually quite a good brand name. If you name your brand or company Plant, and someone Googles the word plant trying to find you because they want to buy something from you, most likely they're not going to find you on Google. You can get around that by sticking two words together. For example, like New Balance, right? It's still evocative in that it has connotations and it invokes sort of a feeling or an image in your mind, but it also has some extra uniqueness built into it. And it's kind of like a mashup, which actually leads us perfectly into the next type of business name. And that is mashup. So some examples of mashups: Pinterest, pin plus interest; WhatsApp, what's up plus app; Binder, Bunnings plus Tinder, find your perfect sausage sizzle match. All right, I made that one up, but you get the point. So the pros are it's unique and easy to trademark, right? Unless someone also has the exact same mashup, but that's probably going to be quite rare. It can be fun and extremely original if you can think of a good mashup. The cons are it can need a bit more marketing to explain what you do, although not always. For example, PayPal, you could probably guess what they do is you're going to be paying, and pal sort of makes you think of like something friendly. So that's a great mashup. Netflix, you could probably guess that that's going to be some sort of internet-based movie service. Mashups often provide the funniest names as well. So if you do come up with any bangers, then please drop them in the comments. Again, we'll all have a laugh about them. Okay, one last one before we do the exercise to get you a heap of solid names to choose from. And this isn't about what you do, but it's about how you make people feel. So final, and this is going to be the easiest one to write, which I'm loving. I love it so much. There we go. I might have to do I went too far, drew a heart and absolutely ruined it. But anyway, right. So for example, Slack makes work easier. Notion means like an understanding or an idea. So these don't necessarily describe what you do directly. Instead, they more sort of capture the feeling of it, right? So, and that's the main pro. So customers instantly know what it feels like to use your product or service. It's kind of similar to this one, evocative metaphor, but there's definitely some overlap, but with this one, you're not calling on like an external metaphor, like a Greek god or whatever. It's just the vibe.
It's just the vibe of it.
To the cons, honestly, this one might be the hardest one to do, and you need to absolutely nail it or it's gonna just fall flat. If you take a swing at coming up with a vibe business name and you miss, you could just end up confusing everyone and people will be like, why is it called that? That's weird. But if you're creative or artistic, then you should definitely give it a go. All right, now step 2, we're gonna brainstorm without filtering. So now that you know the different types of business names, and there's 7 to choose from, there's some overlap there, you might want to even combine a couple of them. What we're going to do now is we're going to brainstorm, and we're going to not judge anything that we write down on the piece of paper. So grab a page of paper or a whiteboard or open a blank Google Doc or notes on your phone and just start spewing names basically. So pause the video and keep this up if you feel that's helpful, but I want you to write down 50 words if you can. So you can mix in like Australian slang if you're in Australia, personal references, metaphors, mashups, your name, what you do, your location, metaphors for how you want the business to be seen or how you want customers to feel using your product or service, throw some weird words in there. Half of them are going to be rubbish, right? And don't worry, no one's ever going to see the names that you come up with, so don't feel embarrassed about writing anything weird down there. But half of them are going to be rubbish. Sometimes though, the weirdest ones will actually spark or sort of evolve into the best names. Like imagine sort of koala and spreadsheet, right? Koala sheet for a bookkeeping firm, I guess. I mean, terrible, but who knows? Maybe it sparks a better one like koala books or wombat wallet. You know, I don't know. Are they good? I don't know. I can't even tell anymore. The point is, let it all out onto the paper first, edit later. Quick side note, if you're starting a business, please don't neglect the banking side of things. Get a business bank account on day one, and you're also going to want some accounting software to save you time, money, and stress. I've been using Xero for about 11 years because it syncs to all of my bank accounts and credit cards, and I just have to literally just click a few buttons at the end of each month. There's a link in the description that will save you 50% on your first 3 months, which actually makes it crazy cheap, so check it out. It's an affiliate link, but I've always recommended it to friends and family all the time because in my opinion, it's the easiest one for everyday people. All right, so step 3, if you haven't got your business names yet on the paper, pause and come up with them. Step 3, what we're gonna do now is shortlist and test them. So when you've got your page of chaos in front of you, pick your top 5 or 10, maybe circle them, and now it's time to test them, right? So say them out loud. Does one sound good, or do you feel like a bit of a wanker saying it, to be honest? Like, ask a mate, shoot him a text, say, hey, what do you think? Generally, you don't want to have to explain it too much to people. And then super important, check online. So this one is huge, right? If you think you found a great business name, now's the time to check that old mate down the road didn't also think that and you're already registered it and been running a business under it for the last 2 years, okay? So you can check business names at ASIC and make sure you can get the domain name. So preferably a .com, or if you're in Australia, a .com.au. If you can get the socials or something reasonably close on the socials, that's ideal too. There are some exceptions, but if someone already holds a similar trademark in your class or industry, then steer clear. And step 4, the gut check. So this is the final test. Do you feel proud saying it? If you wouldn't tell your mates at the pub without cringing, it's probably not the right name, right? Because this is going to be with you for however long you're going to be running this business, hopefully a very long time. You don't want to be embarrassed by it. You want to feel good and confident and proud saying it. So what's the vibe you're going for with the name? Are you a premium business? Are you fun? Are you trustworthy? Are you bold? The name needs to line up with that. Are you relatable and a down-to-earth, honest bloke who's, you know, giving out free side business tips on YouTube? If this video is helping you, please give it a like or share it with someone you know who's also struggling to think of a business name. And of course, subscribe if you're in the process of starting a small business or side hustle, because that's what this channel is all about. And here's the pro tip, right? Let the names marinate. So don't lock it in straight away. Don't commit yourself to a decision, a final decision right now or even today. Give it a few days. See which ones keep coming back to you, like keep coming back into your mind, the ones that just feel right. If it passes the gut check, you're good to go. And remember, a business name is only one piece of the puzzle. The meaning comes from what you build around it. Like, I doubt many people thought Google was a genius business name the first time they heard it, but obviously now it's iconic. So don't overthink it. Pick a name that feels right, but most importantly, get started and then get the meaning built over time. When you go to register your business name in Australia, you're going to see lots of companies charging like $200 or more to do it, but you can in fact do it for just $45 if you go direct to the government website, and I show you exactly how to do that in this step-by-step video. So watch that next.